During his commencement speech at West Point on Saturday, he'll give out more. He outlined his objectives for a new world order and rejected President Bush's emphasis on unilateral American power with the right to wage preemptive war.
The international order we seek is one that can resolve the challenges of our times, countering violent extremism and insurgency, stopping the spread of nuclear weapons and securing nuclear materials, combating a changing climate and sustaining global growth.
Well, will President Obama's strategy work? Will it be effective? Let's ask our special panel of military experts. We're privileged to have with us three extraordinary people. Colonel Doug McGregor, a West Point grad who served 28 years in the military. He's also the author of Warrior's Rage. Get it. John Mumford, a West Point grad who did 2 tours of duty in Vietnam and is the author of Broke. Get that too. And Scott Taylor, a former Navy SEAL who's running for Congress in Virginia. First, Colonel, to you. What do you think about this strategy? You think it leans towards legalistic?
Well, yeah. Well, first of all, listen, I think the speech was actually pretty superficial, Brian. There's not much there in terms of a basis for any new strategy. Lots of stock phrases that you could lift from speeches given after World War II. I think the one thing we can conclude is that this president has a very legalistic mindset. He seems to think that the rest of the world will behave much as American citizens do on a daily basis in the way they interact with each other. The truth is that nation states follow interests, and right now there is no commonality of interest around the world to support this new world order that he's talking about.
We have this transparency world order thing where we'll tell everyone what we have, and we hope North Korea and Iran and maybe our allies do the same thing. Is that practical, John Mumford?
No. The president's speech was, as the colonel said, a lot of good wish list items, but no substance. And those cadets who are now second lieutenants and heading off on leave are probably shaking their head at the unrealism of what was presented to them on Saturday. I looked at the president's speech very carefully, and the notable omissions include some major issues.
Like?
One, Al-Qaeda's desire is to disable our economy and defeat us with as little effort on their part as possible. In over 10 years, they've taken 7 million jobs out of the U.S. economy, 3 of which came out of the last administration, have 20 million Americans unemployed, have no capacity. We have great capacity to wage war, but we have great capability, but no capacity to wage war because we're broke. And we can't talk about new world orders with distinctly countering distinctly American nationalism without giving away our sovereignty and our capabilities.
Well, let's try to get Scott in there. Scott, the president has a lot of drone attacks going in Pakistan. He says we're making great progress in the last 3 months, more than we have over the last few years. Do you agree?
I think we've made some progress for sure, but I think it's very important to point out that we can still build partnerships around the world and strengthen old ones without giving up our sovereign rights to protect ourselves in the name of protecting ourselves. I just feel like that speech was somewhat misguided.
When you see North Korea, Colonel, take out our ally South Korea's ship because it was sitting in the water, when you see Iran continue to deal with others and stiff-arm us when it comes to negotiations of the nuclear deal, it seems like they kill and we talk. Is that the strategy moving forward?
Well, no, I think you've got to be careful about North Korea. North Korea is a dying entity. That place is going to implode and simply fall apart. The Chinese have actually walked away from North Korea. So I think the notion that we should attack North Korea is very misguided. Iran is complex. You know, to say that Iran wants nuclear weapons to threaten its neighbors, I think is very misleading. They've got a very corrupt and bad leadership. The population doesn't really support it, but the population wants Iran to be an independent power.
Scott, how do you feel about what we're doing with in Afghanistan right now? Is the exit strategy the right strategy to put out front and center?
Well, I think that we shouldn't be giving out a timeline for troop withdrawal. Again, I've been opposed to that from the start. I am happy that he gave the resources needed to get the job done. I think we have the best military in the world. As long as you give them the tools to get the job done and a clear objective, then they will do their best to get it done. But I'm opposed to the timeline.
And hopefully we'll see it first in Kandahar. Colonel Doug McGregor, John Mumford, Scott Taylor, thanks so much for your service. We'll think about you on Memorial Day and everyone you fought with. Thanks so much.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you.